Alright. So, um, Gumbitron surrendered in the Barbarossa custom map, and so we should take a look at it and see the stats, see what the end of the result looks like, and think about maybe how much longer it would have taken, but um, some thoughts about the map too. Um, and also, yeah, just to bring this series to a conclusion on the fight versus Gumbitron. So yeah, let's take a look at it. Oops, there it goes. All right. Oh, yeah. So he does do some damage on the turn before he surrenders. Ooh. Mm. Ow. Double sub. Yeah, he killed the destroyer. Ooh, counter battery. Oh, I still did 5 damage to the T-34. I'll tell you what, I lose all my tanks to artillery. Hmm. Well, that wasn't that bad. So he did everything and then he surrendered. Um, hmm. I still feel like there was still some play left in this game. Um, but it was clear that he lost the initiative and he was now not making any more grounds, but in fact losing ground. Um, he still had some good, he had lots of good and interesting attacks on that last round. So he still had things to do. There's still play, but it was really just going to be a matter of if I could make it to Berlin. I kind of wanted to see if I could. Um, but yeah, it's clearly not that fun playing a losing battle like that, and um, time consuming, painful. I wouldn't want to do it. I would have surrendered as well. Um, but at least this way we got to look at a nice replay and we get to see the score and we can just guess and use our imagination and extrapolate on what what might have been. Um, but looking at just from the score here, just from the top performers, clearly, yeah, I mean, artilleries were up here on the top, and the ships, the battleship and the light cruiser. That late plane that we bought scored a lot of hits too. The PE2, that's pretty good. Um, let's see here. Everybody that actually took some hits. Let's see. The 37 AA actually did pretty good. Some of these conscripts. Look at some of these conscript kills. Sure, they took as many losses as they dished out, but you know they don't cost that much, and whatever they kill does. So I mean they kind of pay for themselves. This SU6, one of the SU6s, really scored well, killing lots of stuff. We got more conscripts, submarines up there, more conscripts. Here's one of the partisans. They did a pretty good job before pretty much being dead, right? And one of the I-16s. But this is just a giant whole bunch of conscripts. We don't have any of our T-34s up here. Our T-34s all took a beating. Boy oh boy, this is a long list. Here's a T-34 way down here. Barely held its own, right? Technically. I mean, it killed a little bit more than it took, but T-34s cost a lot too. Here's another T-34. Wow, one of these T-34s was just a soak. It was just a damage soak. And it got repaired and repaired and repaired, and it ate up almost 1200. And it hardly dished out any damage in return, but I wonder which one was that. Maybe the one that just got fucking blown up. Here's another T-34. This is a brand new one that never got into the battle though. But yeah. So the kind of star units really got hammered. I mean, everything got hammered. Probably what the star performer was what 7 was that artillery? The big boy artillery 770. I mean, it did do a lot, and then think of all the suppression it did. Here's a pretty good one of the ATs. One of the AA ATs did 564 worth of prestige. That's a lot. And I think that's it, right? That's the max. And then just like raw kills, what like 22 or 23 seems like the highest. And then what was the one that took the most damage? 20, 44. A conscript that got repaired 44 times. 46 times another conscript. 35 another. One of the I-16s here, 25. But it was definitely one of the conscripts just getting repaired over and over and over and over again. I mean, that T-34 down here, yeah. That, although it only did 31, but it definitely costs the most. Going up, there's nothing that costs more than that in repairs. Yeah, maybe like one of the 500s. Saw 500 here. Oh yeah, the other 203. Here's the other big artillery that took damage. That must have been the one up in the north that got air raided so much. And then I didn't protect it, so it didn't perform that well. It was just a damage soak, right? But it did what it needed to do. And then, but the one in the south was the one that must have did all the damage. But we'll look at the battlefield just to see it all. So up in the north, it seems really interesting, doesn't it? We both have two subs, but both of my subs are literally almost dead. It doesn't matter except from air raid, and I don't think I can protect. I wonder my range from here, if I can even protect these tiles, because my subs are naturally going to want to do an attack on his light sub, do the exact same thing that he did to me. And there's nothing I can do to stop these subs anymore, really. I think maybe I could bomb them a little bit, but I think we can extrapolate that my subs hurt his a little bit, but don't kill them. And I think they probably get killed by planes unless I just sit them here. And then I cover them with the planes and we just trade planes back and forth until at some point, I don't know, I'd have to check the range and stuff. So clearly he either wins this sea battle or it's a stalemate. Um, but this sea battle doesn't matter that much anymore, right? Because he he's realized doesn't have the strength or the power to punch through in the north anymore near Narva. um, and regardless of the outcome of the sea battle, he needs a lot more. So I think this is a wash, right? Regardless of what happens, I'm definitely gonna lose all of my ships. It's just a matter of time because he's got these subs in here now, and there's nothing I can do to stop these subs. I guess I could buy a destroyer. Can you even? I don't remember if you could buy ships, but theoretically I could probably buy a destroyer. Although destroyers are pretty expensive, and I might be able to deal with these subs. But again, it's going to be a wash in the north. The sea battle, I think. He might even win and have a couple of damaged ships left over. Um, and in the center here, in the north, he's already starting to fall back, so we're just going to keep pushing. We're going to cross the river, recapture, and then start pushing with these infantry and the artillery. Oh, the artillery doesn't have um, any type of transport. We might have to give it a transport or something, but that's what we would generally do. We start making our push here. We'd keep putting some back and forth here. I mean, clearly he's just got some recons defending here with some rocket and AT backup. He's trying to pull out the grenadiers. He's trying to form a new defensive line. We don't have that much punching power here. I mean, the only thing we're really going to do is maybe kill a bike or a recon here and maybe continue some pressure. But, this front line is pretty much stalemated, and he's in the process of retreating it and collapsing it. And then over here in the center, looking at what we've got, um, I mean, he's got the only thing he's really got is two tanks, right? He's got two strong tanks still, and he's got the big annoying artillery still. And it looks like he's gonna try to hold back near the river or near the sea line, right? That makes sense if he pulls these guys back and use these, and he can make mounted defense near Riga using the supply point and naval um, coastal batteries to help. But pretty regardless, he's gonna continue to get pushed back in the center. He has very limited things in the center. Now, granted, this turn we probably won't. We've got really damaged tanks, so we're probably not going to do that much advancing. We're probably going to do more healing in the center this turn and repositioning and probably messing up these infantry, probably messing up these infantry, you know, putting more pressure on these tanks for sure, right? Um, there's a lot of good bombing opportunities we're going to be able to deal. So we're going to be able to really hurt him and reposition things. Yeah, this tank's going to drop here, so we're going to have, three potential tanks next turn fully healed, ready to make a breakthrough. So things are looking pretty bad for him here in the center, right? And then as we look further to the south, there's really not much, right? What does he have in the south? He's got one recon. He's got another recon. He's got the rail gun. He's got the mobile. Back here, he's got nothing. Up here, he's just got some infantry, some very damaged AA, and an AT. So, again, there's not much. I have what? Three conscripts and an AT. And down here, I've got like four conscripts and artillery. Five conscripts and some artillery. So there's not a whole lot. We don't have a whole lot, and he does still have a little bit of an air force. So there's still a lot of play left. Like I'm taking Warsaw. I lost my recon, which is pretty sad, but we might be able to take Warsaw. I don't think. Well, I mean it's damaged. Like this turn, it's really damaged. So I should be able to like push up something, smack it, um, and then push something else up, capture Warsaw, and then maybe even plop another conscript down right here. So I think I could definitely capture Warsaw this turn, but and I can start deploying stuff from Warsaw, which is going to be nice, and we're going to slowly be able to make use of all this openness, all this extra prestige from all these captures. Up here, we're not going to be able to do too much. Maybe I send the bomber from the airfield over here and help, and we attack here with the conscripts. But I don't even think I have vision right here, so we don't even know what's here. So we might not, maybe we just reposition. Um, so I'd say another 5 turns. So I'd say I could capture Berlin on turn 23 or turn 24. If we would have kept going and he tried to mount into defense at Berlin, I think we could probably capture it on turn 25. We'll say turn 25. Maybe. Maybe he could hold out to the whole end of the turns though. But I think we could get it. because I think we're gonna get Warsaw next turn on turn 19, and that'll be nice. And then we really have to try to rush to Berlin as quickly as possible before he sets up a decent defensive line, I guess, on the river. But I think that's what we could do. And this will, slowly get pocketed and killed over time. Um, but yeah, this is the Star Artillery. It killed 3 infantry and 5 tanks and 4 recons, 1 artillery, 7 other artilleries, 2 anti-aircraft. It did a really good job. And then all of these tanks though, oh, these poor tankos. Hardly did any damage. And then I guess this is the one that did damage but took a whole bunch. Yeah. Huh. And then all of these, can we see yeah, all the dead units, right? So these are all of the dead units that we've sacrificed. Because I don't think you can see those on the score because they're dead. And it only show units that are alive. And I don't think you can even look at their stats now uh, before they died. But yeah, just like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't even. Maybe like 23. I think I lost track. 23 conscripts. A partisan that died. 2 different engineers died. One of the bridge engineers died. Both of the paratroopers died. KV1 died. 3 KV1s died, and the KV2 died. 3 different recons died, and one of the T-38 recons. One of the SU-6 AA died. One of the 37mm AA died. And then, of course, just like we have immense conscript losses on the ground, we have immense plane losses of I-16s in the air. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 I-16 losses. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the Yak-1 losses. And then, yeah, we lost all of our destroyers already and the patrol boats. But he lost all of his destroyers already and all of his patrol boats. So, really, really interesting game, right? Showing the valuableness of conscripts and, you know, expendable units, units that you don't mind using, losing, units that are replaceable, units that still can do a job. Because some of these conscripts really fought above their pay grade, right? And they did a great job. But so many more, as you saw, were completely ineffective and dead, right? But even if they don't do anything, they still take time and effort and ammo. So, and some of his planes, man, they just chewed through, like, look at this fighter. This fighter chewed through 26 of my shitty fighters and 3 tactical bombers. And I wonder how many losses it took, but that's a pretty good ratio. His planes. I'd like to kind of see some of the ratios on his aircraft, on his units. Um, 'Cause man, he chewed through so much stuff, and eventually though he ran out of money to keep chewing. He couldn't chew any longer. Um, I like how everything performed. Like everything did a good job. Um, I like the little I-16s even though they don't do anything. They're the conscripts of the air. I do like the Yak ones when they're overstrength. Um, I like all the I like even the 37 millimeter AA. It seems too expensive. I like that it's one slot, but 319 bucks is too expensive. It feels like. Because I'm below my slot capacity, and I'm thinking to myself, you know what? I bet you I would have rather have you been the cheaper version. I would have rather have you been a Gaz 88. Uh, that's what I feel, but there are a lot of strategic bombers, and the 37 millimeter is better than the Gaz AA for strategic bombers. But it just seems so expensive. Especially when, my shitty little I-16s are 70 bucks. This is 390, that's 420. I mean, it all seemed great. And, you know, I'm happy with all the performances. Maybe the paratroopers weren't that useful, but they kind of, I'm trying to remember, like, how I used them and what they did. Because I don't remember the paratroopers being that great, but I don't know. I don't know. Hmm. But that's it, man. That's the map. I gotta say thank you to Netscape for making such a great map. Um, 'Cause this is really fun to play on, and it's fun to play this specific scenario, right? The Barbarossa scenario. Can you mount a better defense? Can you attack better? Than history. And it's well thought out, and the rivers are well placed. You know, this is very reflective of real life. Of course, the scale could be a little bit different. Like you could argue that the scale should be bigger. You know, um, because but this feels right though. This feels like a nice middle ground. Like it doesn't feel like you wouldn't want to go smaller than this. Not at all. But you could argue if you go much larger than this, it's going to be more cumbersome and tiresome and more annoying, but it'll provide the more accurate scale. Um, a better accurate scale, for the battles. But I enjoyed this. I enjoyed this quite a bit, and I look forward to playing this map again. But I'm also looking forward to playing a new map that Netscape made, which is I don't know, Shilovo. I would think it's Shilovo, and it's actually based on the map in Team Tactics with the same name, and it's supposed to kind of recreate that battle, and it's a very historic battle, and you have like historical units, the correct amounts and the correct types, and you can't change it. So that's gonna seem really fun instead of this where you can pick whatever you want. Um, so I think this will be pretty cool. This new map that we're gonna play. And I had a great fun time playing on this map as well. Lots of fun stuff. But I think what we'll do here now is send it off into the ether. Although it's probably gonna break again, right? Because the bug isn't quite fixed yet. But yeah, everything kind of went according to plan too. This line held as a good secondary backup. We figured that we couldn't hold Riga because of the naval pressure, and we were right. And so the secondary defense line seems quite well right here. And then it was, you're kind of bottlenecking here. And then if you do lose this, no worries. You can keep bottlenecking down all the way back down here. And that's assuming that you would lose here in the forest too, which is possible. But that means you might have lost Minsk too, which is possible. So again, another great secondary defense line would be right behind Minsk along this line. And then maybe, it's going to be a little bit iffy for a bit. And then you're going to have to even fall back further. And then it becomes really messy, right? Because if you do fall back to this line, you also still need to cover here. But that's okay, because none of those terrible things happened. Yeah, we could have had a lot of good stuff. But that's all for now. That's the conclusion of this map. In this matchup. So see you all around. Oh, that did work. I wonder why it didn't work for the match yesterday. But yeah, here it is, Shilovo. We'll try that out. Alright, later.